Hey y'all, Deb here from Cooking with Mo and Deb. I decided I wanted to make some biscuits, and I've made biscuits before, but it's been a really long time. And many of you, I'm sure, have heard of Brenda Gandt, so I watched Brenda's video about making homemade biscuits, and I wanted to try it just like her. I made myself a bowl that I can keep my flour in, so I've got my self-rising flour in a special bowl. I made a bird's nest, as Brenda calls it, in the middle of my flour. And buttermilk is a very big key. So I poured buttermilk in the middle, or in my flour, right there in the same bowl. I'm not going to use the whole bowl of flour. I'm just going to use an amount that makes the biscuits. And then I used my shortening. I got about an egg size shortening. She says to make it about the size of an egg and put it into my bowl where the buttermilk is poured. And I used my hand to mix up that shortening first. And once it's mixed in to the buttermilk, then you use your fingers to kind of bring some of that self-rising flour into your buttermilk. And you just kind of continue doing that, mixing, until eventually you're going to get your flour mixed into your buttermilk, and it becomes a formed dough. You can see now that it's getting a little thicker, and once it gets thick enough, it's really easy to lift it out of the pan. My biscuits, I'm not making quite as many as Brenda usually does. Look, you can see the dough all over my fingers, just like Brenda does. I used my left hand to take that dough off of my fingers so that I can get the dough out of the bowl. Yes, you get a little messy, but that's okay. All right, so I put a little bit of flour on my countertop, and then with both hands, I just lift out that dough, and it just falls right out of the dough. It comes right out of the flour. Another key thing, as Brenda tells you, and it's very true, is using a cast iron skillet. So I have a cast iron skillet, and I put shortening in the bottom of my pan. That is my biscuit cutter. Brenda uses a can. You can use a glass, anything round, anything that you want to use. You dip it in your flour and then use it to cut your biscuits. I like to put them close to each other because I always like the middle biscuit. So I kind of put them close in my pan. And then once you've cut out your biscuits out of all the dough, you're going to have the edges of the dough left, and mash them up together, make a few more biscuits. It looks like I got a couple more. There's one more. Your oven is heating to 500 degrees. Here comes the biscuits from the oven. They've cooked, they've browned, they are flaky, the edges are crunchy, and they are just delicious. You got to give it a try. You can do it.